Okay, Cam, September is World Alzheimer's Month, which means it's a good time to focus on the millions of Americans living with this disease.
That's right, Anna. After all, it is the most common cause of dementia and one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. for those that are 65 and older. But there is hope for patients in the early stages of this disease.
Yeah, that's right, Cam. There definitely is, especially for patients like Janelle Dersham. I had the chance to chat with her and Dr. David Wiseman to hear all the strides that have been made of Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Wiseman and Janelle, welcome to Inside South Florida.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us.
It's great having you. Okay, this first question is for Dr. Wiseman. What is early Alzheimer's disease and how is it different from normal aging? And why is it important to diagnose Alzheimer's disease early?
Alzheimer's disease is a common disease. It's a brain disease, and it's actually so common that it was actually once thought to be normal. But now we know that it's a separate disease, very much separate than normal aging, which can include tip-of-the-tongue symptoms like hand me the whatchamacallit. But Alzheimer's disease is different. It affects memory. And a brain disease that is caused by these proteins that build up in the brain and they stick to the nerve cells, usually that are responsible for remembering things, keeping information. And so the way it manifests is a gradual onset of forgetting. And it progresses so people forget more and more. And it's important to recognize this early because now we have a treatment that bends the course of the disease, but it works the best if we can catch it early because time is brain. The more dysfunction the nervous system suffers, the less we can do about it.
Early detection is definitely imperative. Now, Janelle, can you tell us more about your journey to an early Alzheimer's disease diagnosis and what were your first symptoms?
As a practicing OBGYN doctor, I was having trouble with my dexterity in my hands, completing tasks on time, and being organized. And I knew that there was something wrong. And I had a history of Alzheimer's disease in my family. So I sought treatment with a neurologist. And when I saw Dr. Wiseman, he ordered some testing that confirmed that I had early onset Alzheimer's disease. And I was devastated, but at the same time, he gave me hope with discussing a drug called Leqembi with me that was the first FDA-approved drug to slow the progression. And I've been on that medicine now since June of 2023.
Janelle, I'm happy to hear that the medication that you were prescribed has been working for you. And now, Dr. Wiseman, let's dive in deeper, okay? Can Alzheimer's disease be treated? How do newer treatments work? And are there any safety concerns patients should be aware of?
Yes, for the first time in human history, we're able to bend the course of the disease if we catch it early enough. You presented to me very early, and that was terrific. It's kind of an honor to be able to offer this and implement this new treatment. The way that Leqembi works, it targets and removes that protein that I was mentioning that causes dysfunction in the brain. And by removing the protein and lowering it, the nerve cells do not suffer further damage. So it slows down the progression of the thinking problems, of the functional problems, and affords people more time in a milder state of the disease. Now, of course, no drug is without side effects, and this has side effects, and that includes this brain swelling that we monitor for. It's usually temporary and resolves over time. So what we do is we hold doses and wait for it to resolve, and then we can resume dosing, usually. It can also cause some other side effects like infusion-related reactions, but you can talk to your doctor about those.
Dr. Wiseman, besides the side effects, which is typical for any medication, it's so great to hear that there's an advancement with this disease. Now, Janelle, can you tell us about your experience on this treatment?
I feel like I've been pretty much at the same functional level from when I started a year ago. And I hope that that will continue. But I'm also realistic that it probably will progress, but hopefully more slowly than it typically would have. And that way I can see my kids graduate from college, get married, have a family, maybe get to meet some of my grandchildren.
Now, what is the most important thing you'd like people affected by Alzheimer's disease to know about your diagnosis and your treatment experience?
I would recommend that they look into treatment to see if they would be a candidate and to have hope. There's a lot of research going on in this for this disease.
Right. Janelle, thank you so much for sharing your story with us here today. Dr. Wiseman, for everything you mentioned here today, where can our viewers go for more information?
They can go to their healthcare provider, go to your primary care doctor. There are specialists available, neurologists and geriatric doctors and psychiatrists who take care of patients with these memory and thinking problems. And then there's a website, leqembi.com, leqembi.com, and there's a lot of information there as well.
Dr. Wiseman and Janelle, thank you so much for joining us on Inside South Florida and sharing everything we need to know about Alzheimer's disease.
Thank you.